I think when Chris Farley was alive, he and I both were competitive with each other a little bit. We loved each other. He was my best man, but we also were like, oh, you got this movie for how much? Oh, well, I'm gonna do, and it's good to have that healthy competition because otherwise you could sit on your ass all the time. And so, but I think that the best part to me of the relationship with Roseanne was that she was so happy to see me all the time. She definitely enjoyed me. And that feeling, part of it's probably growing up without a mother. I'm sure if you looked into it, but she would be so excited, and it was genuine. And I think I was hard to maintain, but we also within our time, friendship, relationship, we had a lot of stuff that just the two of us. It could have only happened with the two of us. I mean, she loved me to impersonate her at bedtime. And I'm talking just not the kind impersonation, but just how fucking rude she was. She would have done something that day, and I get to the bottom of bed, I start doing her, and she loved it. She'd laugh till she cried. And I highly recommend getting with someone that makes you laugh until you cry, and you do the same for them.
Well, listen, I am a gay man, and I too would like a wife that makes $1 million a year. So let me just
Yeah,
put that out there to the
yeah, yeah.
universe.
I'd like a husband that makes $1 million a year. Listen, I've been married to 4 women. Something isn't going right.
Do you do you think this would still be such a big deal today? You know what I mean? Like, look at all the powerful women in Hollywood. Like, do you think we've come far? Like, do you think it'd still be the same thing if like you and Roseanne or anyone got together now and it was a man and a woman?
You mean like Beyonce and Jay-Z? That's kind of how we were. No, I'll tell you something about Roseanne too. She was, she did not look like the people on TV. She was a big woman. And she looked like the people I grew up with, and the people in my family, and the people in the Midwest. She looked like real people. And she did not, she owned it. And so, it was funny because if you read back on some of the articles, they're like, this guy is what is the word? Her hot young. I was never hot or young, and people tried to write it that way. Like, look at this guy, so good looking. just a couple of people did that, and but we looked like we were a couple. We looked like you're supposed to look when you're a couple. That's how they look, and we loved eating. In fact, on our honeymoon, we went to Cabo San Lucas. We went to this private resort, and there was somebody else close to our cabana, and they complained because we were eating too loud. I swear to God, you can Google that. But we had, I mean, yeah, I think I wouldn't want to do it. I mean, I'm grateful everything went the way it did. I wouldn't want to do it uh, again, like go into something. I do need to have a relationship eventually. I haven't had a date in over 3 years, but and I do. There are some women that are age appropriate that I see. Sometimes I do these autograph things. I'm like, yeah, that's yeah. What there's several that I've become pals with, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that. But it's also when you meet, I was up at CVS talking to a school teacher. That's how far my dating goes. I go up to CVS, and age appropriate, and I kind of started getting a feeling like, hey, this is that tingle a little bit, and but I thought, there's always a beat to go. I just had our next door neighbor, where the kids and I moved here to Sherman Oaks, come over and say, oh, and we've lived here since June 1st. I brought me a thing of treats and said, I've been meaning to come over, and I just wanted to say, welcome to the neighborhood. Oh, God, that's so nice of you and stuff. And she goes, and you are, I go, I'm Tom Arnold. She goes, I thought that. Okay. And I thought, there's a little bit of, first of all, you never know what people think about you. So the dating thing, which I never did, I'm sure you dated. I never did. I had 4 engagements up until the time I moved to LA, and then 4 marriages. And in between those, there was a brief period of dating, like 5 dates in 1 week. And then I always felt I was cheating on that person. So I thought, I got to get locked into a marriage with a solid person, solid adult person that has my back. We don't always get along. We could, we don't break the big rules, but has my back. And I'm it probably I have more to work on with myself. I will say this: I have performed 4 marriages, all gay marriages, and they're all still married. And I have been married 4 times. I've been in 4 marriages, and none of them are working. So, my brother and his husband have been together 15 years,
Wow.
and that's I see that as adults going, this is a commitment, like this is a thing, because I think for a long time people grew up like, oh, I have to get married I have to find a woman or a man, and we have to do this thing. I think people are more thoughtful now, and I can't, because my kids are 8 and 6. I'm a single dad. I'm 62, so there's that. Like, first of all, people are not like, oh, I'm looking for a 62-year-old guy, but there's also, I don't, to bring people around my kids,
Right.
but it has to happen sometime. I'm always looking at the moms at school that have kids the same age, that are the single moms. They're usually a lot younger than me, but what you do, and I've set up some play dates and talk filthy with some of the moms, because it seems like they're in a really nice school. It seems like they'd be, but they're filthier than I could ever be. And it's really funny. But, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not my number one. I'm taking it a day at a time, man. I live my life a day at a time.
Is that your go-to move, like a play date
Yes.
for the kids?
Yeah. Well, that's the easiest one,
I like
because
it.
then the kids are doing something. In my mind, this is bad. But to get off the schneid, to break the streak, what needs to happen is the kids come, they're playing outside, got someone kind of observing. We run in my bedroom, hook up because she wants to do that. Done. And but that's how my mind goes. Like, let's get into a closet here. And I do recommend that in relationships. If you don't have sex with your mate, you get resentful, you get jealous, whatever, and every week or 2 weeks or whatever, you just have to go into a closet and do some kind of sex. Get it over. It's not gonna be perfect, but just do it with that person, the one person you have sex with. Do something, and then you're like, okay, chill.
I would agree with all of that. What
Yeah.
about like in Hollywood? Like, do you have any, celebrity crushes? It doesn't have to come true, but like, who's your like type?
Oh, Joanna Cassidy. I saw her at a couple autograph signings. She's like, and I don't know, she might be 75. I don't know. I got a thing for Jane Fonda too. There's no doubt. If you spend any time with her, you're like, oh yeah, that. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I am 62. I'm not like, 25-year-old Tom Arnold. But there is a Gail O'Grady. I like her a lot. And she's very beautiful, but she's also like, not afraid. She'll shit